There have been many cancelled Disney attractions that have been proposed since Disneyland's conception in the 1950s. Whilst this channel has covered many of the well-known cancelled attractions like Fire Mountain in Equatorial Africa, this week we're going to cover some of the rarely discussed cancelled Disney attractions. Let's start in Disneyland in the 1960s, where Imagineers Mark Davis and Claude Coates were designing a new attraction for Fantasyland to replace the Motorboat Cruise. The Motorboat Cruise was a simple attraction where guests would ride in a boat around a lagoon, almost like a water version of the Autopia. The two Imagineers had designed an attraction called Garden of the Gods, where guests would board a vehicle shaped like a Pegasus. They would then pass several dioramas and water sculptures representing various characters from Greek mythology. One of these would have seen Hades surrounded by Cerberus and Charon on the river Styx. Another would have featured Chernabog from Fantasia, although he isn't a Greek god. Ultimately, the Garden of the Gods was cancelled because of its location to Autopia, where the sounds of the noisy cars would have drowned out the ambient classical music found on the Garden of the Gods attraction. We're going to stay in Disneyland for our next entry, this time over in Critter Country. From 1972, the Country Bear Jamboree performed in the Country Bear Playhouse until 1986, where the show received a Country Bear Vacation Hoedown overlay. Whilst the Country Bears were initially well received, its popularity began to dwindle in the 1990s, prompting Imagineers to come up with a replacement for the attraction. The original replacement would have seen the Country Bears remain in Critter Country in an attraction called Critter Country 500. The attraction would have seen guests racing against the Country Bears in their own custom vehicles, whilst Henry and Sammy took on the announcer position within the attraction. Whilst the attraction would have allowed the Country Bears to remain in Disneyland, another popular bear would end up moving into Critter Country. With the recent popularity of Winnie the Pooh, it was decided that replica of the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh attraction from Magic Kingdom should be built instead of Critter Country 500, and so the Country Bears were evicted from Disneyland in 2001. Let's head over to Walt Disney World's Epcot for our next cancelled attraction. When designing the United Kingdom Pavilion, the pavilion was originally going to have a large attraction located at the back of the pavilion called the Thames River Cruise. The boat ride would have taken guests on a river tour of London, passing replicas of well-known London landmarks like Big Ben and the Tower of London. Due to the size of the attraction and the budget before the pavilion, the Thames River Cruise was ultimately cancelled, and the pavilion was redesigned to no longer include an attraction. Our final entrant takes us to Hollywood Studios and Pixar Place, which opened in 2008. The Miniland only featured Toy Story Mania, a snack stand and a meet and greet space. However, that was not the original plan. According to Imagineer Jim Scholl, beyond the final archway was to be the location of a new roller coaster themed to the Doll Factory scene from the 2001 Pixar hit Monsters Inc. No concept art for the attraction has ever been released, but it would have likely been located in the soundstage building between Toy Story Mania and the Backlot Tour. According to Hollywood Studios Vice President Dan Cockrell, when he heard about the plans to add another thrill ride to the park, he liked the idea of the attraction, but felt it didn't align with the goals of the park to bring more family-friendly attractions, as the majority of attractions in the park were either thrill rides or shows. This led to the cancellation of the Monsters Inc. Door roller coaster. Instead, Imagineering decided to add a third track to Toy Story Mania in the empty soundstage, and later Toy Story Land and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge was added to the park to create more attractions that all the family could enjoy. So, had you heard of these cancelled Disney attractions? Would you have liked to see either the Garden of the Gods, Critter Country 500, Thames River Cruise, or the Monsters Inc. Door roller coaster realised? Or were they right to be cancelled? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what you want to see next on the Distory channel.